Stardew Valley's community center is really a lot of work to complete, but it all pays out in the end. But how much money did it actually cost us? Let's find out. Hey guys, welcome to Expas Experiments, where our goal for today is to figure out how much money we actually put into fixing the community center and which of the two routes is actually cheaper, the bundles of the Junimos or the Joja Corp membership. For this experiment, I'm going to need the help of another character / save file, since it isn't possible to complete the Junimo bundles and join Joja Corporation. That would be a new case of Schrödinger's cat. Figuring out the costs for Joja's route is pretty straightforward, so let's begin with that. First, you have to earn 5,000 gold in order to afford the membership. The community center is then turned into a warehouse, and every further repair can be bought in the Joja market. Just enter the store, talk with Morris, and boom! All costs are listed on one screen. No guessing, no crazy calculations, just raw, hard numbers to work with. The Joja route is complete. We know all the costs. All you have to do now is to earn the money and pay them your fortune. But what about the Junimo route? Is it really cheaper to make everything yourself? Calculating the smallest possible amount of money you have to spend on the bundles requires a few self-set rules, and there's some room for errors and improvements. So, if you find an even cheaper way to complete any of the bundles, let me know in the comments below. The rules I've based my calculations on are the following. No cheats. I'm basing my numbers on a vanilla game, so no item spawning, no fluctuating prices from the longevity mod, or anything that can't be achieved in the original game. No gifts or rewards. Completing a bundle gives you certain items, and sometimes the villagers send you some presents if you're good friends with them. The later would throw in some random chances, so I won't include that to my calculations. Only regular quality. I used only the base value of every item for my calculations, except the specifically required gold star fruits for the quality bundle. Only as much work as really necessary. That means that I tried to avoid any kind of tool or building upgrade or machine crafting that wasn't absolutely necessary. Upgrading the pickaxe, for example, would not be necessary, since you can break all the ore vines in the mine with the basic version. It just takes more time to do so. Hidden costs. Every unavoidable crafting or upgrade process uses up material and or money. I added the selling value of the used up material to the costs, but only once. Since we could earn money by selling them instead of giving them to the bundles or using them to create something. For example, I've included the selling price for stone and copper ore in order to determine the value of a furnace. That means we have one furnace for all our smelted needs. I also had one optional rule where I calculated whether or not you could buy items from the traveling merchant or other merchants in town. Since the price of each item varies in her store, I chose to take the maximum selling price just to be on the safe side. All the prices are from the official Stardew Valley wiki. A big shout out to the community who built this amazing webpage. It really made this experiment way easier for me. And there are lots of information about every kind of theme or about the game that you want to know. So, now that you know the rules, let's get into the calculations, shall we? The game always starts with the craft room and unlocks the other rooms whenever one of the bundles is completed. So let's start with the bridge repair. Calculating the seasonal forage bundles, spring, summer, fall and winter, is relatively simple. Just add the selling prices for each item together and we have 4 bundles complete. For the construction bundle, all we need is to chop down some trees and gather the stone and the hardwood in the mines. That means no axe upgrade is required. Yet. The exotic forage bundle requires only 5 items from the list, so it's the easiest to gather the cave carrot, red and purple mushroom in the mines, and grab some coconut and cactus fruit from Calico Desert once the bus is fixed. We have to fix the bus at some point, so it's easy money. No tapper required. This completes the crafts room and brings us to 2,269 gold spent. Bus fix. Since we already mentioned the bus being required for our exotic forage bundle, let's tackle this one next. Just like with the entire Joja route, this room is the easiest one to calculate. We can't improve on this one, so that gives us 42,500 gold to spend for fixing the bus and giving Pam her job back. Minecarts unlocked. The boiler room is relatively simple. The only decision to save money is in the adventurer bundle with only 2 of the items needed, and that means 1 solar and void essence going into our calculations. By doing that, we unlock the minecarts for only 770 gold. The cheapest room in the entire community center. Panning. The fish tank is one that simply requires some patience, but can be done with just the bamboo rod and some skill. You can completely avoid crafting any crab pots by simply collecting the cackle, mussel, oyster and clam from the beach and obtain a crab from a monster drop in the mines. The specialty fish bundle is the first one where our optional rule first comes into play. We need a wood skip, which only appears in the block of part of the forest. So we either purchase this fish from the merchant and spend a total of 3,010 gold on the fish tank, or we upgrade our axe twice, so we get the steel axe, which adds another 7,900 gold to our bill. Little difference. Greenhouse rebuild. The pantry is the first room where the calculations and decisions get really messy. The crop bundles are relatively simple. I simply added the price for each required seed, minimum the required fruits under ideal circumstances, and added them to the value of the corresponding crop. Mixed seeds could theoretically spawn a few of the required crops, but not all of them, so I ignored them for continuity's sake. The Artisan Bundle can be done with a lot of patience by choosing the fruit beds for your cave, which means you will receive apples, apricots, oranges, peaches, pomegranates and cherries, and a lot of other stuff over time. The biggest divider money-wise is the animal bundle. While you could simply buy the large chicken eggs, duck egg, large milk and wool from the merchant for a total of maximum 5,700 gold, you'll get nuts when you build the required animal homes and purchase animals from Marnie. That requires you to build and upgrade both the coop and barn to the big versions in order to unlock the duck and the goat, plus buying 2 different colored chickens, a duck, a cow and a goat. This causes the expenses you have to skyrocket to 48,120 gold for this one bundle alone. And I choose to go for the goat in this version simply because I would have to upgrade one of the buildings once more in order to buy either a rabbit or a sheep for the same price in order to get wool. That means we either pay 54,600 gold or 12,995 gold, thanks to the merchant in order to rebuild the greenhouse. And now we come to my least favorite bundle collection of them all. All the previous work to be the Joja route, by carefully saving each piece of gold we could is now being completely thrown out of the window thanks to this last one, Collectathon. The bulletin board. JojaMart doesn't offer this category, which means every item we have to place in here diminishes our earlier achievements. The worst thing is that we cannot skip any of the items requested by the villagers. We need every single one, so the amount of money will greatly vary again, depending which route we chose. The easiest is the field research bundle, where we simply collect a few items around the valley. The dye bundle requires us to plant 2 more expensive crops, but still no big problem. The fodder bundle requires you to either build a silo for 800 gold with free hay, or to simply buy hay from Marnie for 500 gold and return it to her in the bundle. The Enchanter's bundle requires us to upgrade the coop to the deluxe version and buy a rabbit, along with crafting a keg and a tapper, which means we spend 30,860 gold for some wizard ingredients. But the master of all is Gus Chef's bundle, where you upgrade your barn and buy a pig for 16,000 gold just to get 1 truffle. Plus a house upgrade for 10,900 gold in order to unlock the kitchen and cook him a fried egg and some maki rolls. While on the other hand, you could just go into his saloon and buy the food he requires you, or go to the merchant and buy the truffle there. All in all, you can spend 14,720 gold on the bulletin board by buying the items from the various shops of the valley, or do it yourself and spend an extravagant amount of 89,020 gold. Now that we have calculated all the expenses, it is time to look at the final calculation and find out which way is the cheapest and if fixing the community center really is worth all the hard work we put into it. Well, this is quite the interesting revelation. I think the final conclusion is definitely interesting. Without the bulletin board and the community center, both our Junimo roads would have been way cheaper than JojaMart. And keep in mind, I gave my best to save as much money as possible. Anyone playing normal through the game would spend way more money for fixing the community center. But then again, you probably wouldn't account every single wood and stone into the value of the item you place in the bundles. Well, that was a crazy experiment. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Expas Experiments. If you have any crazy ideas, post it in the comment section and tell me which route you would choose now that you know the solution. Please like, comment and maybe subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this episode. It would make me happy. Well, I hope I'll see you next time, and until then, have a nice day or night. Bye!